A very good morning to all the fellow Toastmasters and guests. I would like to start this meeting with a positive thought for the day. Be thankful for what you have. You will end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never ever have enough. I believe we are here on this planet Earth to live, grow up, and to do what we can do to make this world a better place for all the people to enjoy freedom. Our uniqueness, our individuality, and our life experiences molds us into fascinating human beings. I pray we may accept all challenges ourselves to delve into the deepest resources of our heart, to cultivate an atmosphere of understanding, acceptance, tolerance, and compassion. With this, I welcome you all to meeting number 478 of Mangalore Toastmasters Club. Now, before we start off the meeting, there are certain ground rules which all the members have to follow. Kindly put your mobile phone on silent mode or in vibrating mode. Please keep your videos on while speaking. And I would request all the following speakers to kindly switch on their videos a few minutes before their speeches and be prepared. And lastly, please do not talk about sex, religion, and politics. Now, with this, I would like to hand over our meeting to our most hardworking and dedicated president, Toastmaster Sunitha Pereira. Over to you.
Thank you, Radha, for that warm welcome early in the morning. Good morning, Mangalore Toastmasters. What would you do if you had been in my shoes? This is what happened to me. It was the last day before a group of 42 foreign students from East Timor were due to leave our college campus for their country. My team and I had trained them for 10 months, and everything was ready for their departure, including their final mark sheets and certificates. The morning before their departure, one of the best students came to clarify a doubt. Was there an error in his mark sheet? I promised to check, and I was sure it was a minor issue. But as I checked, I realized the minor issue was in fact a catastrophic one. There was a major error in all the mark sheets and certificates, and I was horrified. How could it have happened? I was so meticulous. What would people say? But life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. So I burnt the midnight oil, corrected the error, and then checked and rechecked every single mark sheet and certificate so that I could hand them over the next morning before my students left. I'm sure all of you have faced challenges at one time or another, and awareness and acceptance is probably the first step towards dealing with them. I'm sure the TMOD of the day has a lot to share about the theme of acceptance. But first, let's begin with a prayer by Toastmaster Ashwin. Over to you, Father Ashwin.
This is my prayer to thee, my Lord. Strike at the root of penury in my heart. Give me the strength lightly to bear my joys and sorrows. Give me the strength to make my love fruitful in service. Give me the strength never to disown the poor or bend my knees before insolent might. Give me the strength to raise my mind high above daily troubles, and give me the strength to surrender my strength to thy will with love.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashwin, for that beautiful prayer. Very calming and wonderful way to start the day. So, can we hear about felicitations from any of our members who would like to share? Do we have any felicitations this week from the members? Please unmute and go ahead and share if you'd like. I think this is one of the few times I'm hearing a very profound silence early in the morning.
I actually wanted to share something. I think it's some time ago, but I wanted to tell this because I owe it to Toastmasters. So we opened an office in Mysore. It's been a month or so that the inaugural happened over here, the whole function, and it was a huge one. Like, so the who's of Mysore was here. And before that event, I didn't know that. And when I read the invitation, I'm like, whoa. And it was media, everyone. And it so happened that previous night, the whole agenda changed. And I'm like, what am I going to do today? Because the whole, not as when, things change and on the spot. And I think I should thank Toastmasters and impromptu speeches, which I don't take up, but I definitely listen to that. It helped me carry forward the event very well. I got compliments from people who didn't know me and compliments from my boss, which is rare. So it's nice, when you do something, take up as a challenge, and somewhere you know that you owe it to Toastmasters. Thank you.
Great to hear that, Divya. Nice. Anybody else would like to share?
Yes? I was a little hesitant because actually it's a eulogy to a 99-year-old Uncle Joe Gonsalves.
Yes.
He was like my second father, and so they requested me to speak on the occasion of his month's mind.
Yeah, that's nice, fun. Must have been a wonderful eulogy. Yes, Chandra.
Yeah, let me. Yeah. For the first time, I came out of my own club and performed in other club, that is Sahyadri Toastmaster as a Toastmaster of the day. I could able to do that job within a 2 days time, and I enjoyed being there. It is a budding club, and future also I want to take some part so that I will be in part of that growing. I want to see that club to grow. I'm decided to be part of that club in future also. Thanks to my president, Sunitha Pereira, for giving me this opportunity.
Okay. The credit goes to you for stepping up, Chandru, and thank you so much. I'm glad Sahyadri really requires our support. They need to interact with Toastmasters for more experience. So I'm glad we can count on you, Chandru. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share? Any felicitation?
Sunitha, here am I.
Yeah, Kavitha, I can't see you. We need to see your shining face.
Good morning, Toastmasters. As Divya said, Toastmasters plays a vital role in our personal lives too. And basically, recently I went to Mumbai for 3 days for my brother-in-law's 60th birthday, and it was totally a surprise for the whole family. And we had hosted a party, and I had to MC the whole program. And my sister, when we just walked out of the room, my sister said, Kavitha, I think Toastmasters has made that difference in you. You were always confident, but the way you conducted the whole program, it is different. So I think thanks to MTM and Toastmasters for that. Over to you.
I'm glad, Kavitha, that it was a good celebration. Is there anyone else who would like to add something before we go on? Right. Okay. A very warm welcome to our guests from Kerala Toastmasters. As you know, we have a club collaboration program from the district where we interact with one club for the second quarter, that is from October to December. So today we have DTM Beena Vas, who's going to give a speech, and we have Toastmaster Joan Rocha, who's going to be one of the evaluators. Very warm welcome to Mangalore Toastmasters. You've been here before, and we hope you will come again more often. And also a warm welcome to Ranjan Kotian, who's a guest. He's attended our meetings before, and we hope in future he will attend our meeting as a Toastmaster. So Ranjan, we are looking forward to you joining the club. And a warm welcome, warm welcome also to Pratibha, who's joining us after a long time. This time we have to hold on to her and make sure she doesn't leave us again. Welcome everyone. Right, now it's time to switch over to the Toastmaster of the day. When you don't know people well enough and you've had few opportunities to talk to them, you're at a loss for words when you have to introduce them. So you fall back on first impressions. He is soft-spoken at meetings and courteous with fellow Toastmasters. He's capable at work and very prompt on WhatsApp. He is talented in playing the keyboard and innovative in presenting his ideas. These are just a few of the favorite traits about our TMOD. But his USP is without doubt his disarming charm. It works wonderfully well when we see him online. I can only imagine what impact it will have when we meet him in person. Toastmasters, please welcome the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Neil Sreshta. Over to you, Neil.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Really, I'm really disarmed by it myself. So let me start with a small story. This sort of is how we would like to see and understand how acceptance is very key to our lives. So there once lived a sage in a forest who was about to achieve enlightenment. And when he was about to achieve enlightenment, he was tempted by a spirit. It was a very intense encounter. The spirit used everything it had. It had thrown the temptation of lust, the temptation of greed, the temptation of anger, the temptation of doubt. And it tried to overcome the sage with these temptations. However, it was not enough. The spirit left in dismay, and the sage achieved enlightenment the next day. But the spirit was not deterred. The spirit returned once again to the sage in the hopes of instigating something else, another encounter, maybe tempting him once again and making sure that he falls to these temptations. But the sage would just acknowledge the spirit and actually invited over for a cup of tea for the spirit. And every time the spirit would slink off back again, disappointed that they did not get that reaction from the sage, who really did not care about the spirit at all and just welcomed him as an old friend. So really what the story tells us is that people have choices. We have a choice on whether to react, or we have a choice to let things be. What we choose to react to is also important. Our anger, frustration, or discontent will not change anything and may likely make things worse if we act on it. But all things considered, sometimes it's better to be accepting and gracious, however difficult it is. It's a very difficult thing to accept things for what they are. In my case, I realized that for me, I had to become a better public speaker. I had to become a better leader. And Toastmasters is an important part of that journey. So good morning, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Neil, and I'm be a Toastmaster for today. Just to run on a basic structure of how our Toastmaster meeting is going to run, there are 3 parts. First is going to be a set of prepared speeches. We have a bunch of really wonderful speakers today. Moving on would be the table topics, which is a set of topics given and people have to speak extempore for 2 minutes. The third section is evaluation, which our general evaluator will be evaluating, a general evaluator and evaluators will be evaluating the whole meeting, as well as each evaluator would be evaluating their assigned speaker. So I would like to introduce our general evaluator for the day. He's a wonderful singer. He is somebody who I have really heard and understood that this is a person who can really sing and touch our hearts with his voice. And he loves to live in the present. I asked him a question, as I did to everyone whom I'm going to introduce today. What have you accepted as a part of life? And his response is to accept situations, people, and things as they are. So over to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Chandrashekhar Palekar, to introduce the general evaluation section and how that is going to work.
Thank you, Neil, Toastmaster Neil, for a nice word. You made my day with those words. Coming to this, good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Evaluation is very important session of any Toastmasters meeting. Being a general evaluator, I am heading 2 teams. One is tag team and another is bunch of evaluators. Before I move on, I would like to introduce my tag team. Tag stands for timer, counter, and grammarian. First, I will call upon Toastmaster Jyothi to introduce her role, how she is going to show the timer card for various speeches, table topic speeches, and evaluation. Over to you, Toastmaster Jyothi.
Good morning to all. Good morning to all.
Good morning.
As a timer,
Good morning.
As a timer, my role is to remind, record, and report the time used by each speaker when they are delivering speeches. We know that each speaker, maybe prepared speeches or table topic speeches, has limited time to speak. And hence, usually for prepared speeches, timing is 5 to 7 minutes. I will share this green card at the completion of minute 5. I will share yellow card at the completion of 6 minutes and red at 7 minutes. For table topics, green at 1 minute, 1.5, yellow at 1.5, and yellow at red at 2 minutes. In the same way, for prepared speech evaluation, green 3 minutes time period is 3 minutes, green at 2 and 2.5 at yellow and 3 at red. For grammarian report also up to 3 minutes, and green it will be shared at completion of 2 minutes, and yellow will be shared at the completion of 2.5, and red will be at red. And just like that, our counter, they are having
Bhavishya.
our counter, there is our counter time period is 2 minutes. Green card will be shared at completion of 1 minute, yellow at 1.5, and red at 2. General evaluator report is of 10 minutes, 8 green and 9 yellow and 10 red. And okay, and over to you, Toastmaster Chandu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyothi, for detailed description of time report. For kind information, the general evaluator report will be 5 minutes. Okay. Next, I would like to introduce our R counter, Toastmaster Bhavishya. She is going to handle this R counter for the first time. May I request Toastmaster Bhavishya to tell about your role?
Yeah.
Over to Toastmaster Bhavishya.
Yeah. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and the guests. The purpose of our counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or a pause filter by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler words, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase, such as I, or. This means at the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each person used this expressions.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bhavishya, for explaining the role. Now I call upon young and energetic Toastmaster Yvonil Dsouza to give word of the day and tell about the grammarian role. Over to Toastmaster Yvonil.
Thank you, Chandu. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I take note of any impromptu language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is my duty to introduce the word of the day. So we have 2 words for the day. The first is serenity. The meaning of serenity is the state of being calm, peaceful, and untroubled. A couple of examples are, many individuals find that yoga is a great way to experience serenity. And for an introvert, it is difficult to experience serenity in a large crowd. So you can use this word. I've got another word as well, a similar sounding word, but it means completely different. It is serendipity. The meaning of serendipity is the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or a beneficial way. Again, I've got 2 examples. It was only through pure serendipity that I met my best friend. Another one, it is not just standing alone, but also by serendipity that the photographers get to capture such breathtaking moments. So I encourage all the Toastmasters to use any of these words. So that's all I have, and I'll see you at the end of this meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Yvonil, for generous enough to give 2 words for today, for using today. Yeah. Moving further, at the end of the 3rd section, I'm going to present my report about my observation of this, today's meeting. Now, back to Toastmaster of the day, Siri, Toastmaster Neil.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for giving us a good introduction of what the roles are going to be. So moving on to our first section is a set of prepared speeches by 3 speakers. A word to everyone, it would be nice if you could drop a bunch of direct messages after each speaker speaks, encouraging them and giving them an opinion of what you thought that was good from their speech. It would encourage people to give better speeches and encourage people to give more speeches. So I would like to start with the first speaker of the day, introducing our first speaker of the day. She's an Assistant Commissioner of Customs, and she is representing Kerala Toastmasters in this meeting. Welcome to the club for this meeting. And when I asked her the answer to my question, she said she has accepted not to wait for validation from others. No one person can make us whole. And to evaluate her is a Toastmaster who has said that happiness comes from keeping other people happy. Introducing the speaker, Toastmaster Beena Vas, and her evaluator, Toastmaster Kavitha. I would invite Toastmaster Kavitha to read out the objectives of the speech.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Neil. Good morning, all. A special welcome to DTM Beena Vas. It's a pleasure. It's going to be a pleasure to evaluate you today. Beena Vas, DTM Beena Vas is on Path Visionary Communication, Level 2, Understanding Your Communication Style. The purpose of her project is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify her primary style. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share the impact of her style on others. Timer, kindly note, time is going to be 5 to 7 minutes. All the very best, Beena. Over to you, TMOD.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, Toastmaster Beena, you can start.
What separates us, Toastmasters? And if you're going to tell me it is the distance, well, this meeting proves that it is not. What separates us is the lack of communication or the way we communicate. Good morning, early risers, Toastmasters of Mangalore Toastmasters Club. I was just trying my initiative style of communication, having a parallel WhatsApp chat with 2 teachers, motivating them to join Toastmasters. It was basically a cut, copy, paste conversation. Now, I sent a message to teachers telling that this joining Toastmasters is going to make you an excellent teacher. Well, it went fine till the next morning. A senior Toastmasters who took them as guests and introduced to Toastmasters called me and asked me, how dare you insult my guest? Well, I am not a positive person. In the sense, I use comparative and superlative degrees when I talk. But I was sure that I never used a positive word when I talk to them. To clear up the miscommunication, I contacted one teacher and I asked, and the first thing she asked me was, how dare you told that I was not a good teacher? Well, good. I knew that I would not have used the word good. Anyway, that failed. And the next teacher communicated to me that, Beena, if you think Toastmasters is going to make me a better teacher, definitely I am in. Toastmasters, think of it, one simple conversation to two different people. And why is it that when we communicate, some take us to the highest of our emotions, and some will make people run whenever we are there because of the way we communicate? Interesting, right? When I wanted to do this project, I was just going through the project objectives of pathways, and I found that there are 4 different types of communication: direct, analytical, supportive, and initiative. Now, direct, we use these communication styles every time in our life. If you are a direct communicator, you're a no-nonsense person. Just facts. Come on, get to the point. And we appear to be serious and not so fun-loving people. And there's a clear demarcation between work and play. Like if you fit into any of the category, well, we are on a direct communication mode. Then comes the analytical communication mode. Comes the fact-oriented, give me facts, give me numbers, prove it, because we need to be accurate. But these type of communicators are organized, systematic, they look slow in reaction time. They're serious, industrious, and methodical. Well, any of you fit in there? And then comes the supportive communicator. Consensus builder they are. They usually are low-key. They're persuasive, informal, and uses more interpersonal relations when it comes to communication. Then comes the initiative, the social. They're very sociable, enthusiastic, fun-loving, talks more than listen. Well, that says it. When I took the survey into the pathways, it made me an initiative and a supportive communicator. But the question is, can we stick on to any of this direct, analytical, supportive, initiative all the time? No. We have to shift according to the situation or the person that we are in. Because in communication, there is no one size fits all. I was just thinking of my predominant communication style while I was taking this survey. What is it? Well, while we are children, we all use the direct communication style. We are direct. We don't know to mince words. Whatever we want is what we ask, or whatever we think is what we speak. But then we grow up. Then comes the different styles of communication: analytical, supportive, initiative, and all other umpteen number of communication styles that are found in net. If you go and check, you will be, which is mind-blowing. But while doing this project, it was serendipity. Serendipity that I thought about, what is my predominant communication style? Do I fit in anywhere predominantly? No, I found that no. I think the communication style I follow is what my mother taught me. She always used to say, speak what you mean and mean what you speak. Actually, it got me into trouble because when in school, I was not an amicable person because of this. But later on, I learned how to communicate better. It's none of these styles, but when you speak from your heart, you will not go wrong. Toastmasters, I think that is my style. I speak from my heart wherever I am, because in the back of my mind, there is always this echo that is going on. Speak what you feel and speak what you mean and mean what you speak. We all fail miserably in communicating to people. There people will run the moment they see us. People will be angry, serious, but remember, communication is like motherhood. There is no one way where we can fit into any of those slots that are there. The only thing that I have learned in all these years of communication is communicate. Whether it fails or not, keep communicating and be the best. Speak from your heart. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Neil.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Beena, for an excellent speech on how communication, how you leverage different styles of communication. Thank you. Our next speaker of the day is a counselor by profession, and she is excited to satiate her thirst for knowledge in the field of psychology. When I asked her the answer to my question, she said that she's learned to accept that things do not go as per plan and accept whatever the situation is. She's evaluated by a Toastmaster, a distinguished Toastmaster, whose answer to my question is, people evolve over time, and someone you know today would not be the same tomorrow. Toastmaster Divyashree would be evaluating Toastmaster Della. I would like Toastmaster Divyashree to read out the objectives of the speech.
Thank you, Neil. And today's speech, which Della will be delivering, is actually going to contradict the whole theme for the day, because the theme for the day is acceptance. And that's what she has not done with her previous speech, because the purpose of her speech is to not accept the speech that she has already delivered, but to make it better and evolve that speech and present it in a much better way. And I'm looking forward to it because I attended last meeting and I heard her speak. I want to see what Della will do to that speech to make it sound and look better. All the best, Della.
Toastmaster Della, the Psyche of Parenting, Toastmaster Della. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Close your eyes for a second and imagine you are in a park and the luscious nature, the greenery around you has you mesmerized. As you are enjoying the serenity of nature, a strange animal with an adorable sound has caught your attention, and its eyes has your heart melted. You are awestruck and follow it, and suddenly find yourself in the midst of a havoc, a chaotic scenario, and animals let loose, and you are trying to get hold of the tiniest animal amidst the confusion, only to realize that the animal is a part of the havoc. This imagination is the closest that can get to parenting. Imagination for you, a hard-hit reality for me. Parenting for some has been a piece of cake. They know exactly what their child needs and are able to understand the cues of a newborn. For others, and most of us, it is a trial and error method. Trial and error for the first one, a cakewalk for the second one. However, not all are the same. Definitely not something we can learn beforehand, but instead learn with every child. When I became a counselor and was posted in schools, I noticed how some parents would speak to their children. I observed my cousins, nephews, and nieces, and I would visualize how I would bring up my child. Of course, imaginary kids would be ideal and parenting a no-brainer with no meltdown and no war zone at home or with myself. In my mind, my ideal child was following a routine, disciplined, waking up on time, having meals without a fuss, courteous, obedient, and engaging in play and activities. But the reality of being a mother shook me out of my clouds, brought me down to earth with a shocking jolt. For Erin seems to have been born with a mind of her own, making her own routine, taking her own decisions, and expecting all of us to follow them. When the rest of the family goes off to bed, she wants to go back to the dining table to yum something. When we decide to wake up early to get on with our work, she wants to sleep and we don't want to disturb her. When we sit for lunch or dinner, she thinks it's playtime and plates and cutleries become her toys. When we take her out to play, she wants to be in the house and demands to be fed. The yesteryears seemed blissful when I could sleep serenely, but now it's a Herculean task to even close my eyes in peace for 2 seconds. Most of the nights are spent in putting her to sleep. There is no time, there is no routine, and absolutely no appetite for food because mommy is there. With Erin asleep, it is a marathon to get all the work completed before she demands for attention. I just hope she doesn't wake up now so I can complete my speech on time and undisturbed. Many a times I think she displays an attitude similar to the cats. She comes running with a huge bright smile and hugs me when I reach home, only to cry a few seconds later to be fed. And once she gets what she's after, she doesn't want anything to do with me. Just like cats, my kitten demands attention all the time. So completing anything in serenity and successfully is next to impossible. Be it some simple housework, preparing for classes, or having a normal conversation with anyone. In all honesty, she's a splitting image of my husband. And I used to be annoyed with these remarks, only to learn that she is a reflection of my personality. Moody, cranky, demanding attention, and a complete drama queen. By the way, she's woken up and she's crying. The qualities I sincerely hoped she wouldn't inherit. I doubt I can be as patient as my parents to put up with them. While there are premarital classes to prepare the couples for marriage, pregnancy classes to help you with your pregnancy and subsequent delivery, there are no parenting classes to help deal with toddlers. No child comes with an instruction manual, and we as parents have to follow our instincts and go with the flow, taking each day as it comes. It certainly is a walk in the park, the Jurassic Park, but in the end, I know it's going to be rewarding as well. Watching my child grow physically and mentally, observing her trying out various tasks on her own, listening to her non-stop chatter, I can definitely say it's worth the work. Parenting is tough, and yes, we aren't taught how to parent, nor is there any such thing as perfect parents. But it is all about our actions in front of them that they imitate. We got to write our own style and rules of parenting, and a role that I'm still accepting, learning, and getting adjusted to. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Della. Everyone that I noticed when I was looking through everyone in the gallery was smiling, which shows that everybody resonated with your speech, and your baby crying was the icing on the cake. That timing was impeccable. So moving on to the next speaker, she is someone that I have admired for her speaking style and an excellent evaluator when I had given my speeches. When I asked her a question, her answer to my question, she said, "It's situations that go beyond my control. I've learned to accept them." Evaluating her is a longtime employee of, longtime former employee of ITC, a Toastmaster from Kerala Toastmasters, Toastmaster Joan Rocha, and the speaker is Toastmaster Anita. When I asked Toastmaster Joan, she says the best way to manage conflicts is to put yourself in the other's shoes. I have learned to accept that. Toastmaster Joan, welcome to the club, and I request you to give the objectives of the speech so that we can look at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Neil, and a very good serene morning to all of you. Speaker DTM, or rather Toastmaster Anita Cordeiro, is attempting her project speech from the Path Effective Coaching Level 1, Project 3, Research and Presentation, and the title is Why Breakfast? The objectives of the speech is, it could be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. It is not a report on the content of the researching and presenting project, and the purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present an organized and research speech on any topic. So all the best to you, Toastmaster Anita.
Thank you.
Toastmaster Anita,
yeah.
Why breakfast? Why breakfast, Toastmaster Anita?
Okay. This is a research topic which I have taken up, and these are my research techniques that I had used. Some websites, some interviews, some publications, and some research and their findings. Okay, we have all heard this adage, and I'm very familiar with it. Now, as a working woman, I had to manage the family, the house, the workplace, the kids. And mornings were very hectic. They are even now. You know, it looked like as a serenity would fly out of the window every time it was opened early in the morning. A mad rush to get things done, prepare breakfast, pack lunches, keep the things ready, get the kids ready, get myself ready, and reach the workplace on time. So I thought the best way to actually save time would be to skip my breakfast. And secretly, I was also hoping that I would lose some of those extra kgs that I had collected around my waist and my tummy. So 1 month into this, I realized I was not getting to my workplace on time, nor did I transform into the slender and slim figure I dreamed I would. Instead, I found myself visiting my physician because I started getting fatigued. There were bouts of dizziness and also listlessness. And my doctor very firmly told me, you cannot skip breakfast. But why was something he could not convince me of. So I started my own research. And this is what I came up with. Sorry. Yeah. Now, Jessica Crandall is a registered dietitian and spokeswoman at the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. And I found what she has given about breakfast is something very comprehensive and easy to follow. Why should people not skip their breakfast? First of all, breakfast is something that provides fuel to the body. It is something that provides the energy that is required for the rest of the day, especially if you are able to combine the carbohydrates with proteins. Secondly, it helps you to maintain weight. Now, people like me would think the best way to lose weight would be to skip breakfast. But Jessica Crandall points out that when you skip breakfast, you become hangry, that is hungry and angry, and it could lead to overeating later in the day or even choosing unhealthy foods. Did you know that actually breakfast helps you to control your blood sugar? Now there is this doctor, Dr. Osama Hamdi, an MD and a PhD with Joslin Diabetes Center. And he explains that when people with diabetes actually lose or skip their breakfast, their blood sugar level goes low and it could be a very dangerous scenario. So he recommends that diabetic people not to skip their breakfast, instead to have a breakfast that is easy on carbs and well balanced in protein and fats. Did you know that your breakfast actually helps your heart grow stronger and perform better? Now, Dr. Hamdi says, when you need to kickstart your day, you need your metabolism to be up and working. So eating a healthy breakfast helps your heart to keep you stronger. Actually, the 2017 Journal of American College of Cardiology reported that people who skip breakfast are more likely to have arteriosclerosis. The next thing is your breakfast helps you to perform better. Research has shown that breakfast helps you to pay attention, remember better, and thus your performance level also grows better. Research also shows that children and teenagers who have good breakfast are said to have performed excellently in their academics. All of us have heard of the celebrity nutritionist Rujuta Divakar. Now, she has spoken to the newspaper Indian Express, and she adds these health benefits to breakfast. She says when you have breakfast, it not only helps you to have a better and a longer lifespan, it prevents you from getting headaches and acidity problems during the day.
5 minutes.
It reduces your stress, it prevents you from binge eating, and also keeps you away from stimulants of any kind. So it is very clear that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and we cannot afford to miss it. But I've heard people who say that food puts them off early in the morning. They cannot have breakfast in the morning. Now, what do you say to that? Now, I spoke to dietitian Tiffany from Hyderabad, and this is what Tiffany has to say. She says that when you give up your morning meal and it becomes a habit, the body will suffer in the long run. A whole night's sleep and nearly a gap of 10 to 12 hours after the last meal, the brain would have run out of energy and is not able to carry out the day's activities effectively. Hence, the body is deprived of fuel and starts to feel fatigued, giddy, lethargic, and even confused. So it is clear that eating breakfast is a must. The next question is what to have for breakfast. Almost all research and findings show that to maintain a good health, good healthy choices for breakfast are necessary. Now, I spoke to nutritionist Pratibha Bandari from Mangalore, and this is what she says. All our traditional Indian breakfasts are a good combination in themselves, a complete balanced meals. And therefore, whatever you choose from our Indian breakfast, be it idli sambar, puri bhaji, upma chutney, these are the choices that can make your breakfast healthy and keep you healthy. As for me, as I graduated slowly from having grabbed breakfast and then popping something into my mouth as I was walking around the kitchen, I slowly started sitting down and having a relaxed breakfast. And that is when I noticed that my waistline actually started decreasing. Not in inches, not even in centimeters, but definitely in millimeters. So if you wish to maintain a good health, if you wish to maintain your sanity and serenity and live a long and healthy life, don't skip your breakfast. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anita. I skipped my breakfast for the last 2 days. It's a good incentive for me to start eating breakfast once again every day. So this concludes the session, the prepared speeches section. I would like the timer to present their report and for the Google Forms to be circulated for voting. So over to the timer. So can we consider everyone eligible to the timer?
Yes. Yes, I think so. We can consider everyone eligible.
Understood. So Fiona, can you share the link for voting? Yeah. So the voting forms has been put up in the chat, and we requested to please vote for the best prepared speech. In the interest of time, I will move on so you can continue to submit your vote. I will now hand over the lectern to the person who introduced me for the table topic session, Toastmaster Sunitha. When I asked her what she has learned to accept in life, says change is the only constant, and that is what makes life worth living. Over to the table topics master of the day.
Thank you, Neil. And before I start, a very warm welcome to Dr. Rajan Phillips, who's also joined us from Kerala Toastmasters. Welcome, sir. Since we are talking about acceptance today, I thought the best way to explore acceptance would be to decide what it is not. So I'd like to ask you to describe an experience where you were unwilling to accept a person, an event, a situation, or an idea. So I'm going to ask Toastmaster Pratibha. Would you like to go first? Toastmaster Pratibha?
Yes.
With us? Yeah. So okay. I would like to ask you to describe a situation and experience where you are unwilling to accept something with regard to your child. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, Toastmasters. When the word acceptance comes to your mind, for me, it is the last stage of going through several stages. A very famous American psychologist, Kubler-Ross, if you have read her books, please do. If you have not read her books, she has told us about the 5 stages of acceptance. That is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. So to your question about something that I have to accept about my daughter was, or my child, I have a daughter, Pooja, she's now grown up and settled in Bangalore. The acceptance that I had to do was when she was growing up, I come from a typical Konkani background, typical orthodox, you can say almost, where by the time a girl is 22 or 23, we start looking out for an alliance. So what happened was the same thing happened to her. She had just finished her engineering, and me, like a very ideal mother, started looking out for her, asking everywhere, where can I get an alliance or whatever. And she made me, she sat me down and told me, I'm not going to get married like you did at the age of 22. Please accept it. I want to have a career of my own. I want to go out there and see the world. It took me a long time. As I told you, I first was in denial, then I had anger, and then I was a little depressed, and then I finally accepted. And thank God I accepted that, because now she got married at the age of 28 almost, which according to my mother's standards was too late. But she's very happily married, has a full-fledged career, and she made a right choice because she had matured by then. So that was my little this of acceptance. And now I'm very happy for her too. So I would like to tell everybody that please, the first time when something faces you and you are not acceptable of the situation, sit down and give it a thought and go through these stages. And then finally, when the acceptance stage comes, you will be in a world of serenity. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratibha. That was really enlightening.
Okay.
I'd like someone else to talk about an experience of non-acceptance. Toastmaster Sean, would you like to give it a try? Sean?
Sure.
Okay. Perhaps you can talk about an experience where you were unwilling to accept something with relation to your sibling, your brother or sister. Go ahead.
Good morning, Toastmasters and guests. Okay, so I have 2 siblings, both sisters. So they are, well, I'm totally, in a timeline, we are in the different directions. Basically, if I'm not bragging, but if I'm disciplined, like if I wake on time, if I'm doing everything consistently, they are both like, my elder sister just binge watches shows, and my younger sister is, I have a lot of expectations from them. So it's like when I'm trying to tell my smaller sister, like, you have to read books, you have to, stop watching cartoon a lot, you have to do this, you have to have this discipline thing, you have to eat right. But whatever I do, they do it for some time and then they stop doing it. So this is something which I have a lot of expectations from them, but then it's like it's not working. So I have learned that you can't change somebody's what do you say, you can't make someone do something what you wish them to do, but you can just do it. And if they really think that they should do it because after seeing you, then I think it's a choice, it's a human choice. So this is something which really disturbs me, because they're wasting their potential, what they can do. So this is my thing on the topic.
Thank you, Sean. That was quite profound for a young man. We have one more speech to go. Could I request Ranjan? Ranjan, would you like to give it a shot? You could try it out. All right, you need to unmute. So could you describe an experience where you were unwilling to accept something about a parent, either your mother or father? Go ahead, Ranjan.
Is a parent's experience?
No, you were unwilling to accept something about your parent, either your father or your mother. You were unwilling to accept it. Could you talk about that?
It is difficult.
Okay, talk about anything. You could talk about anything that you were unwilling to accept from your experience. Anything.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, good morning, Toastmasters. My name is Ranjan. In 2010, I have completed my graduation from Bhuvanendra College, Karkada. So, from Mangalore University. So, that time I never had planned to move from Mangalore city. So, I always had thinking about I had to work in Mangalore. I something contribute to Mangalore only. So sometime after graduation, I started my business. So after that, it is the first generation business. So after a few months, after 1-2 years, I lost my business. So that time I'm not able to come out from that loss. So that is a forcefully I have to move out from Mangalore to Mumbai. So finally, I just moved to Mumbai and started my job. And after that, after 3-4 years, and again, I started my business. So when I moved to Mumbai, so I thought, and I don't want to go back to Mangalore. So I want to stay in Mumbai. So after that, again, I started my business during pandemic. So 1 year before. So again, I did good in business and achieved good things in business and in some other personal life and my family life. After that, again, I got in a huge loss. So, and during pandemic, I'm not able to recover. So again, after 10 years, so I never thought about the back to Mangalore. So after 10 years, and again, I'm back to Mangalore. Again, I'm starting new from scratch. So this was, I never accepted that when I never accepted to that go to and out of Mangalore. So after again, I forced to them move to Mumbai and out of my city. And again, that is I never thought about the back to Mangalore. So again, the forced to move back to Mangalore, and now I'm here. So thank you. This is my experience.
Thank you, Ranjan. I'm sure through all of this, you have learned what acceptance really means. Yes. So thank you for sharing your experience. That comes to the end of the table topics. If you can, Jyothi, if you can just share the timings so that we can vote, and then I'll hand over back to you.
Pratibha took 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Sean, 1 minute, 37 seconds. And Ranjan, 1 minute, 51 seconds.
Thank
All are
you.
visible.
Thank you. Over to you, Neil.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sunitha. Fiona has also shared the forms in the chat. So if you could please take some time to vote for the best table topic speaker, that would be great. Thank you, everyone. So thank you, everyone, for a wonderful session on prepared speeches and on speaking extempore for table topics. Now we shall move to the third part of the episode of today's meeting, and that is for the evaluations. I would now hand it over to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Chandrashekhar, to take on this section. Over to the Toastmaster.
Yeah. Thank you, Neil. Once again, good morning to my fellow Toastmasters and guests. Now we have come to the final session of today's meeting, very important session that is called evaluation. Evaluation is required to improve upon, because we are all here in Toastmaster to become best from better and great from best. So evaluation helps us to become better and better every passing day, not only in Toastmaster journey, but also in life as well. Here we'll get instant feedback for every role we are doing here. Today, without much ado, I would like to call upon our individual evaluator to evaluate the prepared speeches. First, I will call upon our innovative and charismatic Kavitha Kamath to evaluate DTM Beena Vas speech on the title Worry Not, Speak On. Over to Toastmaster Kavitha.
Okay. Good morning again. Worry not, speak on. Congratulations, DTM Beena, for have understood the objectives very clearly and delivering that speech with serenity. Kudos to you on that. You excelled with the art of starting your speech with a question. What separates us? We do agree communication is an art, and you gave us beautiful examples with the example of a teacher and how you could connect with them and how it could be a conversation where people can misunderstand you or take it in a right way. You made it very clear to the audience that we cannot stick to one style of communication. You very well explained the types of communications, as you mentioned about the 4 types of communication, and that was the direct, analytical, persuasive, and initiative communication. As your objectives had to clearly mention the types of communication and the communication style which you have accepted. They'll say, you said you have to speak from your heart, which is so true. Each one of us have to speak from our heart. I think you may want to work on a few aspects, and as an evaluator, I would suggest you to work a little better on your gestures and your voice modulation as well. I thought you could give better pauses when needed. You could give time when you questioned initially. Apart from that, you have been an excellent speaker from the time I have seen you. And I think the early morning session at MTM still didn't trigger on you. So, Beena, the art of storytelling has always been your forte, and you did it extremely well. I wish you all the good luck in your speeches to come. To summarize, your style of communication and the message you delivered was very good. When the communication starts from the heart, it's not just the communication. It comes from your heart directly, says Jatin Rap, and this is true. You have been a very honest and open communicator, and I truly echo on that one should speak from the heart. Over to you, Toastmasters. And congratulations, Beena.
Thank you, Kavitha. Now it is time to evaluate Toastmaster Della's speech on the topic, the Psyche of parenting. I call upon daring and dynamic DTM soft skill trainer Divyashree Gatti. Over to Divya.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Toastmasters. I should say today, Della made my morning very happy because a speaker somehow takes a speech and presents it. But this speaker over here actually took a already delivered speech and tried to make it better. What is that? What I loved about the speech was too many to mention, should I say that? There are too many things that I want to mention in this speech. One is when you have a good speech, how do you make it better? And that's what Della has proven, because before getting into the speech today, she called me up to have a detailed conversation as to what she can improve. And that is the acceptance of a speaker, that there's always an ability and scope for improvement. And that's something I want to commend about Della as a speaker. And when it comes to the speech, the preparation that has gone in, you can see that speech that over that 1 week, how it has evolved. People who have missed last Saturday's meeting, it's worth being envious and being jealous because you missed a fabulous speech. And now today, what you saw is the improvised version of that particular speech. I was in love with Della's acting and his presentation skills. Today, I'm in love with her voice. The subtleness with which she started, the serenity that she created in our minds, and the complete change when the mother took over. So for me, there were three characters. The first, the narrator, who was calm and subtle and serene. And then came the mother, who was a little troubled. And then came the daughter. And I was waiting for seeing Anita's reaction at that time. I missed that, Anita, to see the mother react on the daughter's reaction. I wish Anita's video was on to see her daughter speak about how she behaved as a daughter. I think that was my main miss in this speech. What were the reactions of her? What I would love to say during the speech is every mother was somewhere smiling and was able to relate. And relatability is something which a speaker always strives for. And that was very evident in your speech, Della. Very evident that people could relate to it, even if they have not been a mother. Even the men, I was seeing literally Sean, awestruck. He was just pausing. He didn't give even a change a movement, and he was so involved in that speech. And that's the beauty of the speaker and the speech. When it comes to the whole aspect of subtleness, the presentation of subtle ideas, even a element of humor was given with such poker face, where people would laugh, but there was no second thoughts about the speaker assuming that, hey, is this even going on our favor? Because that's the confidence she had in her speech. Now, if there's one area of improvement I would like to tell you is there was a correct demarcation between the first element, that's the narrator, and the mother. But when it came to that, the daughter element, somewhere that demarcation could have been better, because there was such a beautiful demarcation between the narrator and the mother that I somehow missed that demarcation of being the bubbly you at that moment. Sometimes, we say, no, when we practice a speech too much, sometimes it loses its essence. I felt that over here. With this amazing speech, and I want to hand it over back to the amazing G.
Thank you, Divya, for lively evaluation. Now it is time to evaluate Della's mother, that is DTM Anita's speech on the topic, why breakfast. I call upon Toastmaster Joan of Kerala Toastmasters. Toastmaster Joan is presently district officer in Division H and serving as the PR manager. And we are having Joan of Kerala Toastmasters first time in our club. Over to Joan.
Thank you, General Evaluator Chandrashekhar. The early bird catches the worm. So it's a matter of serendipity that I got a double advantage this morning. I got congenial company and got to hear a great speech from Toastmaster Anita.
I think it's a power cut. Seems like we have a series of them today.
Yeah, we can take up that evaluation later, right?
Yes, we'll take up that evaluation later.
Proceeding further, I call upon Our counter, Toastmaster Bhavishya Kotian for our counter report. And Toastmaster, please note that Bhavishya is debuting this role as our counter. Over to Bhavishya. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. Thank you, Chandrashekhar, Toastmaster Chandrashekhar. All the Toastmasters have done a great job. TM Neil Sreshta has used 20 times and repeats 4 times. TM Chandrashekhar Palekar has used for 4 times. TM Jyothi Hebbar has used for 5 times and for 9 times. TM Yvonil Dsouza has used for 3 times, for 1 time, and repeats 1 time. TM Kavitha Kamath is used 1 time and repeats 1 time. TM Beena Vas is used 2 times. TM Divyashree has used 7 times and repeats 3 times. TM Della, nothing. TM Joan, I didn't like, since it was not done, I was not able to note. Runs in 5 Rs, 1 well 5 times, 6 times repeat. TM Anita has used 4 times, repeats 11 times. TM Sean has used 3 times and repeats 3 times. TM Sunitha has used 3 times. TM Pratibha has used 5 times and repeats 1 time. Over to you, Toastmaster Chandrashekhar.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bhavishya, for debuting this role. Toastmaster, can you have a round of applause for Bhavishya? He's doing it for the first time. Okay, thank you. Let me know, Toastmaster Joan is there?
She hasn't been able to join yet. Chandru, go ahead with the grammarians.
Yeah, fine. Now I call upon grammarian, young and energetic Toastmaster Yvonil Dsouza to present grammarian report.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Chandru. DTM Beena said that communication is like motherhood. I would like to say that the grammarian report is like fatherhood. That's what I think. To begin with, let me just mention the people who use the word of the day. DTM Beena, Toastmaster Della, Toastmaster Anita, Toastmaster Divya, Toastmaster Joan, and Toastmaster Pratibha and Toastmaster Sunitha. I think they used in the chat. So if you're using it, it's great anywhere. But that I feel good about it. If at all you have used the word of the day. Okay, please a huge round of applause for the ones who have used the word of the day. Okay, now let me mention about the good usage. I will mention the names when it comes to the good usage. And to Toastmaster Neil, I love the word acceptance. It makes a lot of sense for me at the moment. And so the word itself, though it's simple, the theme was great, acceptance. The other good usage were impeccable, intrusive. And when you use the word intrusive, we had Toastmaster Sunitha who wanted, she said little intrusive when she came up with something different that she meant. So it makes a difference the way you use the word, and in the interest of time and lectern. And the Toastmaster Sunitha, a little intrusive, waiting for the storm to pass. But it's not about waiting for the storm to pass, but it's learning to dance in the rain, something beautiful. Toastmaster Chandru, without much ado. DTM Beena, comparative and superlative, no nonsense person, mince words, umpteen. When it came to Della, luscious green. And when you said that, and serenity of nature, we could actually hear the birds chirping. And yesteryears seemed blissful. It certainly is a walk in the park, the Jurassic Park. And Toastmaster Anita, serenity would fly out of the window. I could actually see that. Mad rush, hangry, and sanity and serenity. Toastmaster Kavitha, a good usage, worry not and speak on, or something like keep calm and speak up. Toastmaster Divya, subtleness, demarcation. Toastmaster Joan, I just could get a little bit of her, and she said, the early bird catches the worm. Toastmaster Pratibha, though we were talking about the theme acceptance, the stages before that, denial, anger, bargaining, depressed, and acceptance, it makes a lot of sense, like how exactly we can accept things in life. I think we need the first four. Sean, bragging, timeline, and Toastmaster Ranjan, a first generation business or a first generation entrepreneur. It sounds very cool. Okay, a few improper usage. Prepared speeches section. Instead of prepared speeches section, I think it's prepared speech section. And when at Toastmasters, when we are addressing people, it's always good to address them as Toastmaster and then the name rather than calling them out by name. That's what I believe, and I'm not really sure if it's right, but it's always good to call them as Toastmaster. And a few other things as like it's separators. Instead of separators, separates us. And senior Toastmasters, when you mention about a person, it's senior Toastmaster. And another thing, types of communication. It was type of communication, to be specific there. And the word repetition of demarcation, which happened quite often in one sentence. And instead of me like, you can use I like. And smaller sister, instead of smaller sister, we could use a younger sister. Instead of my thing, it could be my opinion. And during pandemic, instead of during pandemic, it's always good to use during the pandemic. That's all I have in the Grammarian's report. It's not a pleasant thing to give a report, correct people, but that's the part of my job. I had a great meeting today. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Yvonil, for detailed grammarian report. You have pointed out everyone's good usage of words. Yeah, Toastmaster Joan, can you continue with your evaluation?
Yeah, sorry, we had a power disruption here. Anyway, luckily I got through my phone's hotspot. So, as I said, I'll just repeat it. It's a matter of serendipity that I got a double advantage this morning by starting off early with you. I got congenial company, as well as I got to hear a great speech from Toastmaster Anita. We know that evaluation is the breakfast of champions. But as a speaker, you treated us to a sumptuous breakfast this morning. The topic chosen by you for the research and presentation project is a very pertinent one, Anita, at any point of time, and more so in the current pandemic and turbulent times that we're going through, where we all tend to compromise on a breakfast, which is the easiest thing we could do. And your speech was well presented and researched. You had very striking and attractive, colorful visuals, which aided, which in fact brought home the message very well. It was structured very well and indicated the sources from which you have picked up the information for your topic. You were the epitome of serenity, and I think more so with the presence of your two daughters out here this morning. Your speech was laced with humor, especially when you spoke about the effect on your waistline for skipping your breakfast. We could relate to all that you spoke today, especially about how we all generally skip our breakfast. And you rubbed it in further when you said that it leads to binge eating and anxiety eating. So you had a great takeaway message for all of us. And you, in fact, stressed that, to kickstart our day with a good breakfast will help us to have serenity and also retain our sanity. As far as recommendations are concerned, I could just maybe say that you could, make less points on your slides so that you could just pick bullet points. You did that. And so you could speak more on the topic, because our attention goes on all the slides, and maybe that would, should I say, it may reduce your speaking, your time, because you were slightly rushed. You could actually give in more of your dialogues with the less concentration on the topic on the slides. That's it, I feel. And maybe when you spoke so humorously at times, you could just add on some hand gestures or body movement, like especially talk about your waistline, that gives us more impact to your speech. But we all enjoyed your speech, and in fact, it just almost made us a good breakfast. So that's it for me, and I slightly got a little hassle with all these power disruptions. Thank you, Toastmaster Anita, and it was a great research topic. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Joan. In spite of having all these hiccups, you have managed and presented your evaluation. Yeah, this brings the end of evaluation session. Timer, Jyothi, can we have the time taken by three evaluators? Yeah, Toastmaster, yeah, please. All the evaluators were well within the allotted time. Please vote for the best evaluator. Google form has been shared. Now coming to my observation of today's meeting. Today's meeting was started late by 2 minutes, but our Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Radha she was hurrying up to start the meeting. So that shows her presence of mind. And she has started and stated the ground rules so that all the members and the guests can follow in this online meeting. Followed by President Toastmaster Sunitha Pereira has shared her experience about the challenge. Toastmaster of the day, Neil, did a commendable job. He took the charge of meeting, sharing a story connected to the theme. And after every speaker, he has commented, he has said about the positive about the speech, which is encouraging one. His presentation shows that he has done a lot of homework for this role. Coming to the table topic, Toastmaster Sunitha, the topics were simple and personal in nature, and choice of topics also given to the speaker. And she has limited to the 3 topics, she know that the time was overshooting, so she has cut down to limited to 3 topics only. That shows her presence of mind. And our tag team did a great job. The R counter, Bhavishya Kotian, she was doing it for the first time, but she did it beautifully. Toastmaster Jyothi Hebbar, though she joined late, but she managed her role very well. Coming to the 3 evaluators, all the 3 evaluators have performed their job very well. They have said about the commendable points about the speech, and they given the suggestion as well, so that the speaker can improve upon. All in all, the meeting went on very well, though there was a little hiccup in the technical issues of the online meeting is obvious. I enjoyed this meeting. Over to Toastmaster of the day, Neil.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Chandrashekhar, for your wonderful evaluation of the meeting. And I would like to start with a small vote of thanks to people, especially Father Ashwin for an excellent prayer. Special thanks to Fiona for actually seamlessly coordinating everything in the background, taking pictures, and also sharing the Google Forms in a way that when I ask, it is there. So that is, I'd really like to thank Fiona for this. And also Toastmaster Sunitha and Toastmasters Seema for the constant encouragement given for me to take on this role. Thank you so much. And I would like everyone to switch on the video camera so we can take a picture of this meeting. A kind request to everyone, please switch on your cameras and we can take a picture.
Right, time to use the word for the day. Please give me those serene smiles and a heart full of love. Joan, if we could see you on screen, Dr. Rajan Phillips would be happy to see you. Chandru, Kavitha, just a minute, just a second. Yes, Chandru, we're waiting for you. All right, I think he has an important call. So here we go, everyone, one more. Thank you. That was serendipity. Over to you, Neil.
Yeah. So I would hand it over to the President for the awards as well as for closing this meeting. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Radha, are we ready with the certificates? Yeah. Thank you so much. So the award for the best speaker goes to Toastmaster Della Cordeiro. Congratulations, Della. And the next one, Radha. The award for the best table topic speaker goes to Toastmaster Pratibha. A motivation for her to keep to stay with us. And the next one goes to the yellow one, the evaluator. The best evaluator. Not Neil Sreshta. I think it got mixed up, so it's okay. It's okay. Just put the red one on, Radha. It's all right. Put the red one on. Yeah, so the best role taker award goes to Neil Sreshta, and I think we have a little glitch with the best evaluator award. Rather, you could just announce it. Don't worry about it. You could just announce it.
Fiona still has to.
I have messaged you, Radha, on your phone and on the chat.
Okay, Fiona, you can just announce it. There is no problem.
Okay,
Just
there is a tie. There is a tie between Toastmaster Joan, Rocha and Toastmaster Divyashree Gatti.
Okay, congratulations to Divya and to Toastmaster Joan.